Okay, so this is practice quiz 1, question 3 continued. This is where we left off in the last video. We had the denominators of our fractions here. We did the prime factorizations of them. So we got these, we broke them down. And we formed the LCM. So the LCM needs to contain all the numbers and all the prime factorizations. So in the first one, for example, just reviewing, we had 2 2's and 2 5's. Here you have 2 5's and 3 2's, so they're all accounted for there. Here you have 3 2's and 2 5's. You got 3 2's here, 2 5's already, they're all accounted for here. In this one you have 2 2's, 2 5's, and a 3, so they're accounted for here. So this number here contains all those numbers. Okay, and when you multiply that, we got 600. Okay, so let's go back and write all the fractions so they have 600 as their denominator. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we're back over here now. So our LCM we found was 600. So I'm right here. So our LCM should be all capital there. Lowest common multiple. So we're going to write all the fractions so they have 600 as their LCM. So the first fraction, to make the LCM, it has a 20 and a 5. 20 times 5 is 100. So you're missing a 6 to make it 600 on the bottom. So you're going to multiply top and bottom by 6 here. So I'll multiply the top by 6 and the bottom by 6. And that's going to become then 12 over 600. So let me write that. So it'll be 12 over 600. So for first fraction, or second fraction, 0, we can leave that one alone. The third one now, we have 20 times 15. So if you go on your calculator, 20 times 15, that's going to be 300. So on the bottom right now, it's 300. So to make the LCM 600, you're missing a 2. So you're going to multiply top and bottom by 2 here. So let's do that. Okay, so doing that. So I multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. Now it looks like it's going to be 16 over 600. So let me write that. So equals then 16 over 600. Let's move on to the next one. So next one we have on the bottom 20 times 10, so it's 200 down there right now. We need to make it 600 or LCM, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 3. So doing that, multiplying top and bottom by 3, we'll have 15 then over 600. Then moving to the next one. Right now we got 100, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 6 in this one. So doing that, we get then, so we get then 6 on top then over 600. Then moving on to the next one. This is 20 and 5 again, so we're also going to multiply top and bottom by 6, so it's like it'll be 12 over 600. I'll write that here. Okay, so we got 12 over 600 for that one. We got 3 more to go. This is a 20 and 15, so that's 300, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 2 in that one. So doing that, multiplying top and bottom by 2, so it'll be 2 over 600. This one's 0. And the last one is 200, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 3. So doing that, we get then, okay, we get 3 over 600. So we got all the heights now relative to the same denominator, 600. So now we're ready to do our histogram. So let's do that now. Okay, so I have all the data written here. We have the bins and then our heights. So let's do the histogram. So we're going to put the bins on the x-axis like we did for the frequency one. So first bin will be between 20 and 25, which I have here. Again, the squiggly line means that there's some values missing there. That's why I have 20 close to the origin. It's fine. So it'll be 20 to 25, my first one. Then 25 to 35. And then from 35 to 50, my next one. Then 50 to 60. 60 to 65. 65 to 70. 70 to 85, 85 to 90, and 90 to 100. So from 20 to 25 is that's 5 units. So 25 to 35 is 10 units, so it should be twice as big as so just take that and double it to get that one. That's 15, so it'll be like laying this one down 3 times. and so forth. So it doesn't have to be perfect, the spacing, but close enough. And the heights then we have from 12 over 600s, actually 16 over 600s our largest one, and our smallest one 0. Now we got 2 also. So let's go by increments of, say, let's make this first tick mark here on the y-axis. Let's make that represent 2 over 600. So that'd be then 4 over 600, 6 over 600, 8 over 600, 10 over 600, 12 over 600, 14 over 600, 16 over 600. Okay, now we can start doing our histogram. So our first bin 1, 2025, it's 12 over 600, so it's 16, 14, 12 would be here. So it'd be like this. Okay, so your first guy. Next one is 0, so just here. Then it'll be 16. The 16's here. So it'll be like this. So that's from 35 to 50. Then from 50 to 60, it's 15. So 15 be halfway in there because that's 14, so it'd be about there. So about here. Okay, from 60 to 65, it's 6. So 2, 4, 6 would be here. Okay, from 65 to 70, it's 12. That's 14, so 12 is about there. So that'd be this guy. It'd be 16, 14, 12, so 12 there, yeah. It's pretty good. Then from 70 to 85, it's 2, so it's right here. And from 85 to 90, it's 0, so it'll be down here. Then from 90 to 100, it's 3, so that's 2, that's 4, so it's halfway in there. So that's about there. Oops, but it's over here, this one. Okay, so this would be your histogram. I'm going to call the area of this guy A1. Then the area of this one A2 down here, but I guess there's 0 area in that one. So I'll call this A3 then over here. A4, A5, A6, A7, A8's down there, and A9 over here. Okay, so let's recall how to find okay, so to find A1 is the area of this rectangle. So the area is going to be length times width. So down here, it's going to be 25 minus 20, so it's going to be 5 times the height. The height here is of this guy is 12 over 600. So multiplying those, 5 times 12 will be 60 over 600. Then A2 would be 0 because A2 is there. A3 would be, so the length here would be 50 minus 35, so it would be 15 times the height of this one here would be 16 over 600. And that's 15 times 16 is 240 over 600. Then A4. So A4 is going to be 10 times the height here. So the fourth one looks like 15 over 600. So it'd be 150 over 600. A5 it's going to be 5, 65 minus 60, so it'll be 5 times So A5, so the height of A5, so A5 would be 6 over 600. Oops. So it'll be 30 over 600. A6, I got a space here, A6. So A6 then will be 5. So A6 guy will be 12 over 600. Yep. So multiplying those, we'll get 60 over 600. Okay, A7. So A7 would be 15 times the height of A7, so it'll be 2, so it'll be 30 over 600. Okay, and A8 is 0. And sorry, this should be A8 is 0. A8's there. This is A9 here. And A9, let's see, I can do here this. A9, that's going to be 10 times the height of A9 will be 3 over 600, which would be 30 over 600. Oh, I had a space there. It's be 30, right up here, 30 over 600. Okay, so I'll let you check what we can do here. Let's add all these up and show it equals 1 here. So adding up all the areas then, so A1 plus A2, A3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they all have 600 as the denominator, so we're just going to add the numerators and divide by 600 then. So A1 has a 60 on top, A2 has a 0 on top, A3 has a 240, A4 has a 150, A5 has a 30, A6 has a 60, A7 has a 30, A8 has a 0, A9 has a 30. So that you check when you add all those guys up. On top you get 600. So it'd be 600 over 600. So it would be 1. So we've shown for this example that the sum of all the areas equals 1. Okay, so we're done with the question now. So let's leave it there. Well, before I go, just let me mention again. For your extra credit, you have to show that it's always the case when you add up all the areas in a density histogram, you always got 1. We've just done, we just proven it for this example, but that's not a proof. So when you write your extra credit, you're going to have to prove it in general. Okay, so I'll let you think about it. And it's due before your quiz. Just email me your extra credit and you get 10 extra points on the quiz. Okay, so that's it. Let's leave it there. So we're done with the question.